that now for any other city if I want to. I can build my statements. I can build my statements in a Word document and copy and paste that over. Helps for complex stuff. Yeah? Alright, and again apply. And now, since we filtered that out earlier, only have 2 selections. You guys concur?
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. Cool.
I got 0.
So, 2 selections. Those 2 guys are within the boundaries of the city of implementation.
It's a 0.
Yeah?
What the hell did I do?
Yeah, you will. It's scary. You will see it in a moment. Gotta push this.
How does the data get in there? Like, you get it from the city? How do you get the information? How do you get the data?
Someone clicked on it or someone digitized geocode. Let's get there. All right. You gotta do this. All right. Let's do
City.
This is the fun part of teaching this class. Now let's do this. Let's do Fort Lauderdale.
So are we sending or sending?
I just try to do it and employee numbers. Yeah. Let's do one combination. So instead of doing step by step by step, let's do one combination. Yeah? I want to select, this is how I start speaking about this. I want to select.
Are you going to clear selection first?
Oh yeah, clear selection. I want to select all McDonald's establishments within that are listed within the city of Fort Lauderdale. Yeah? Fort Lauderdale. That have a employee number
Greater than.
listed greater than 30. All right.
You sort it like that.
I could do that by hand, but I don't want that because my database system will help me with that. So, I need to write this statement first. I want to do the city of Fort Lauderdale. So I do city, space, equals, space,
Cities.
get the unique values, and just double click on city of Fort Lauderdale. Yeah? Now, I combine my logic with and employees numbers greater than 30. So I need to do this again at the end before. Space, and space, employee numbers is EMP num, space, equal, is it equal?
It's greater than.
Greater than or equal to?
No, it's
Equal greater equal.
greater
Oh.
30. Okay, and this is now important in terms of the language. Do you say greater than
Or equal.
30 or greater and equal than 30?
That's what you look at.
Greater and
Depends
equal.
on what you want.
Right now it's greater than 30.
So, no 30s. 31.
No, 30. 30.1 is included, but not the flat 30. Okay? At 29.9, it's not included. So if I hit now apply,
9.
and looking at the attributes table, our number 30 here is not included. Got that?
Yep.
All right, honest hands up. Yes, I have understood how to combine 2 queries with the AND statement.
Well, I understand it, but I'm not getting it.
All right, are you on the right table?
Yeah.
Oh.
Here's a picture of it.
You mean by that the real
To see.
MCD?
Alright.
It's real MCD.
How would you now change your statement
Because of this.
if you want to do the city of Fort Lauderdale, greater than 30 employees, and a sales volume greater than 250,000.
You're gonna put and,
Oh no, wait, 200 and
It's 2 million.
And
2.5 million.
sales
two and a
volume
half
to
million?
combine that?
2.5 million?
I got it.
Than?
I was
10,000?
wrong thing here.
Wrong table.
Right now.
2.5.
2.5 million.
To us, sorry. Million?
We have to put that in?
2.5 million apply. Ooh,
So if I want to do that,
only two, only three.
I would add again an N, and don't forget the spaces in between.
4.
Yeah. Sales volume
Greater than.
greater than 2.5 million. How many zeros do we have? Yeah. that's
Why?
commas. Nope, no commas.
That's why it didn't work.
I get 4. Is that right?
Yes.
Correct.
So now I can see you can add this up. You can make this really complicated. Yeah? But you also, this is the fun part, in statistics, you say alpha is the probability for an event that happened.
Or that gets that.
Yeah? But you also heard about the possibility that that event won't happen is 1 minus alpha.
2.5 million.
You reverse the whole idea. So if I look at this table here, I can now actually click on this one,
Wait, where's your mouse?
and I could switch the selection, just for the fun of it. Now I have everything else in the system selected that is not 30 employees, Fort Lauderdale, and more than 2.5 million. You just knock the back door rather than kick in the front door. So, depending on what you're looking at and what kind of data you have, sometimes actually do the selection, reverse the selection, the right solution.
There's actually one guy who owns 12 McDonald's in Fort Lauderdale.
Probably, yeah.
So we did, I think, 45.
I don't contribute to that.
EMP number 45. EMP number 45, yes, 12 McDonald's around.
EMP number?
Yeah, next to sales volume. Isn't that the ID of the owner?
No, that's the employment numbers.
Yeah, so it's just 45, all of them 45, isn't that like the same
The
owner?
number of employees they have.
So is that the code of the person? Oh. So every single one of them exactly 45?
Yeah.
So weird.
Is there any way that this
Well,
is
got that?
there any way this gets documented and any changes?
Yeah, the same number.
I know, let's get, we gotta go through this. Seriously, I'm pushing you guys through this. Alright, so any questions about select statements right now? I can make that complicated as fantastic life can be. Yeah, you see these, you could do like, it sounds like something, or part of it. Like, remember, you can search wildcards, like, search something with a star, like, hey, fill this out for me. Yeah, you could do that. You have an and and an or even the complicated part is not. So I could even say here, or, that says it searches everything in the city of Fort Lauderdale that has employment numbers of 30, higher, or sales volume. Now I have 28 selections. Yeah? I can pair that up. Boolean algebra, that's kind of the logic behind that. Yeah? Like, what you basically do is you have your table. If this is your table, yeah, all these are your McDonald's. What you basically do is you have a statement that cuts out just this. And then you have another statement with the end. cuts out this. Yeah? So it's super logical based on your operators in that statement. A typo kills it. A space, missed space, typically kills it.
But I have the same information here.
If you get something like that, there was a problem in the statement. First rule of thumb,
Check the spaces.
go back and check if you have all the spaces. Second problem you usually see is you missing for some reason because you built this large thing. You just missed the equal sign, you missed the operator. Get a problem. Yeah? And that's a common thing because you do this. I want to select the city of Fort Lauderdale. I need to tell the system, I want to select from my table the city of Fort Lauderdale where the field city equals Fort Lauderdale, the value. Huh? This is the most common panic situation for you guys. Boop, error message, where is this coming from? Spaces missing, typos, and the operator for that field, typically an equal sign, is missing. Yes, please.
Which type of data would the like function be the best for?
All right, let's try this. City, like, tick. What do we have with, let's do these, DA, and then cheerleader base would be the star. Is it?
What does that mean?
All right, this is the case of which placeholder are we using here? It's a percent sign. In this case, I recommend you're in a cheer database right now. Use the help function. Now I'm doing this since decades and I still have to remember which one I use. The building a query expression, a simple query expression, it tells you all this pattern again. You know? Like the stuff we just did. This is the theory, the handbook behind it, with the help. You can see here, name equals Alabama. You can also see how this works. And then at the end, down here, it has a placeholder with the percent sign. Yeah? And you have another placeholder here. So if I look back at the function, I searched for everything where the city is DA. Sorry, it starts with DA. It doesn't matter about the length. If I look here carefully, now I see Dania and Davy. Because they both start with DA. Yeah?
After that, second thing,
Yeah.
after DA,
Close the value.
after the percentage.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay.
Alright? Cool. Let's do something about proximity. Unselect everything. And for display purposes, I'm moving the real MCD so I won't mess up again into red hexagons or reddish. So you can see this nicely on there. Okay? Those are like subdivision block size markers right now. It's just a single point on the map. Huh? Like a sand crane on the street. But, so you see this better. If we have proximity tools and measures that say, hey, I want to show what's within a mile of each McDonald's, I can use the function that we call buffer. Yeah? If you remember the lecture, there are multiple ways to deal with buffers, so let's do this.
Is the circle?
Those are the circles. So I can do geoprocessing and find that function here called buffer. I don't click it right now, I'll show you the other way too. Or, a little bit more complicated but more in depth, I click on this toolbox icon. And I strongly recommend that you just browse through this and look at these functions here. Some are really complicated, and we are not going to touch them, but the analysis tools with proximity are really cool. Because we have buffers and multiple ring buffers here. Yeah? That buffer here is the same tool like this one. Yeah? You just have to remember it's in analysis, proximity, buffer. And there are other cool tools here as well. Yeah? Right now, buffer. If you see show help, click on help. Same thing like I did in the lecture. It actually shows you how to do the input, how to do the dissolve none and dissolve all. This is my example of the fried eggs. Yeah? Sunny side up. Huh? That help function is a gold mine if you struggle. First thing, open up the textbook. Back in the textbook, there's a glossary. It gives you actually all the functions where they are located inside the textbook. It gives you examples how to do that. Or you go here to the tool help. If you have not clicked anything else in the tool yet, here in the tool, it shows you the basic function in text and in image. If you are not satisfied with the amount of text, you can click tool help. Pops up, shows you even more. If you're not a good reader, just look at the illustration. Huh? That helps you to understand how, for a point, polyline, and polygon, how this will look like when you buffer. Huh? Without even using the tool at this moment, you will understand that I get 3 single features here for 3 input points, or I actually get 2 features because they dissolved and overlapped. Huh? Same thing here with the polyline and the funny thing what we call polygons. Huh? The help function even helps me sometimes. Huh? I'm trying to dig deep, huh? But before you go into panic mode, textbook and the help function might be even more efficient than trying to find that specific location. Where did we do that exercise on the video? Yeah? And usually F1 or just a tool help. All right, so buffer. If I want to do buffers of 1 mile radius around all McDonald's locations, I need to select the input feature. I can do that 2 ways. I can click the browse button here and find any location on my computer. Or I click the pull down button here and I will see the layers I could use in my current map project. You can run buffer functions in Arc Catalog. You don't need to have a map for that. No? Map makes it easier because it's easier to control that you did the right thing. So I want to input all the real MCD. Two more hours.
And then we have midpoint.
Then we have lunch break. Then, next step, output feature class. Yeah? Output feature class. Wait a minute, it's putting me in my default location. I don't want that. That's my last resort because it will save it somehow, but I don't have control really on that because I need to find it all the time. So I'm going to go back to the location where I have my MCD. In this case, it kept it. Yeah? And I call it MCD 1M. Because I want to do 1 mile buffer. It's a little bit very particular, but then you look at the name of it and you automatically know, okay, I did something with 1 mile. No?
The safest type doesn't matter in this case?
Safest type feature class. I only can select 1 type because I'm in the Geo database. Yeah? And say safe. Yeah? So now, important next step is I want to do a radial buffer. Radial distance, that circle thing. Yeah, that's international donut sign. Yeah. Muy cool. That buffer of 1 mile, I type in 1. But you can see the map is using data in decimal degrees. So I need to change that unit to miles. Everyone has that. You need to change this into miles. Yeah? Then, down here in method, if I just simply click on it, my help changed and explains to me what is planar or geodesic. What kind of measure I need to take for this. Yeah? For the purpose of this exercise, we are staying with the default. Yes?
What is Euclidean buffers?
Where do you see that?
In the health explanation. The second line says Euclidean.
Euclidean.
Yeah. It's like the style.
Yeah. Alright. So 1 mile here, I keep this the same. This is what we're going to use later. That's very great DX. None, all, and list. I can even use a list field inside my data table to coordinate that, pair them up. Yeah? We are going to use none and all. It's confusing enough. Right now we keep none and click OK. Fingers crossed. This is usually where machines make. So you see on the bottom right, buffer, 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 buffer. Yeah? And if you're successful, you should get buffer 2 here with a green checkbox.
Oh, it's going.
Mine said the value field is required. That's 50, right? The value field.
No, mine didn't. Buffer,
Value
buffer,
field.
buffer, buffer.
The value of the distance.
Serious?
1 mile.
If you look,
Oh, there you go.
Unclick your, unclick
So
that.
you did decimal degrees right
Just
now.
have real
Click
MC.
OK with
No,
decimal
click,
degrees.
have just real
Yeah.
MCD.
Go back to
Click.
Click this.
Yeah.
next trick. Go back to
What's, I don't see buffer, buffer, buffer. Stop buffer.
So you know what? Did you create it under,
how do you get to that one? Oh.
click the other one again?
This one?
The cross. Double click this one. Yeah, that's what the reason. All right. So now you can see that here it added the file called, or the feature
Oh, I
classes
think I need
layer
to,
realmcd_1f.
professional.
Yeah.
Huh?
And you can see I have all these little tiny blurbs all over the place. Yeah. And I also now can do one thing. It's symbology. I can actually say, you know what? I do, let's say, beige as a style. And remember, we can actually change the transparency of it and go to display and say 50%. Now I have some see-through. Want me to repeat that?
Yes.
Ah,
I got started.
Let's do this again.
Again, yeah.
I can change the color setting here. The typical way to do that is, why is my mouse disappearing?
Why is my thing so weird?
Choose
Double click here,
real MCD.
I do two
Yeah.
things.
See,
In symbology,
on the output.
Real MCD and rename it.
It's right here. Should be buffer 1, right?
my mouse just started.
Click on the real MCD.
I'm getting an error.
And rename it as real MCD underscore.
So in symbology, I change the color setting, let's say rose,
Save.
but then it would come back as this really distinct color.
When you're using
If I want to show like transparency, see-through, I go here to display, let's say 50%, and hit OK. And you now can scroll in, and you see this overlay, see-through, wherever the map loads. So I show now all the distances of 1 mile. but I can identify a structure underneath. Alright? Yes, please.
This one up here.
I got stuck on like an error.
This is the bottom of next part.
It said that you're already in Sept, so I can't.
Yeah, then rename it. Then rename it.
Yours is connected to your
Click on this, click on this, and just put
Yours is connected to it.
How do you change the?
Double click on it. Yeah.
No, the shape, okay, transparency.
Double click on real MC.
So?
M.
Yeah, this is already. You want to have that. So you gotta rename that.
Seriously?
You gotta name it new, you can't over it.
You are a man.
Doesn't show anything.
Now it should work.
Yeah, you are. It doesn't change.
Looks good.
It's not changing.
Sometime.
Create a bug? No. Real.
You are a man.
Maybe we'll retry to do that.
I turned this thing.
Do you basically try to come
Oh?
This is the
That's pretty serious.
because of the position.
Yours always must go to position.
Explaining.
Yes.
Military. This is like 30 minutes from our town. It's like more like a.
Alright, lessons learned. You have to start doing this without any selections on. So clear your selections, otherwise you produce weird results.
My turn. That's cat.
What's
Yeah, you can come up with so they want that they want to use it to map it on
This is the semicolon. You change the whole map.
You don't necessarily have to do these screens and you're just going to visualize it. I've been thinking about going to Superman with that map.
Yeah.
My map tells you
looks like you did a buffer
everything about the map.
that is
Thinking
inside
about
of
getting that.
half the state. Yeah?
See what
Issues
kind
of
of
units.
data is available there.
How can I do this? Oh, right here.
We want you to experiment with something else, and then
I
I
need to do
understood.
this right now.
I saw your thing.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Still too
Alright,
Anything.
and that mouse is simply there.
I wanted to
Can you use mine?
I wanted to
Yeah.
The one you
the speed
I can take it off.
You have a wireless on you?
transactions are happening.
I think my battery's done.
That way I can.
I can't use that mouse down here, it's killing my
There's
wrist.
a lot of fast ones.
Oh, no, it's back.
Which is more accurate.
That's a whole receiver thing. Okay, thanks for your help. Alright, so, welcome to the world of buffers. So, if I would do now this whole tool again, give me a moment. If I want to do this tool again, I can double click on this again and do the same feature. Input is my real MCD. Oh, trackball, I can't do trackballs. Oh, is it a real mouse? Yeah, I can do trackballs. Okay, this is the only thing on computers I can.
I don't do that.
Yeah. Real MCD. I want to create a real MCD buffer. Now I call it actually 3M. Buffer. Yeah. My linear unit is going to be 3 miles. And now I want to do the dissolve. And I change dissolve in all. Again, what that means is the moment dissolve.
How about the default under it?
Good call. 3M. In my MCD cheater database. Good call. Thank you, Carlos. Alright. Real MCD buffer as a real MCD 3M in linear units of 3 miles, and I will dissolve. Alright?
So
Underscore 3. I don't like spaces in names in that. It's old habit. Yeah? And you also see, okay, this is the root and that's something, the operation. And I hit OK. Give-
None is all, right?
None is all. Alright, that was too much.
This.
Alright, 1 mile. Sorry guys.
Change that.
Well,
The name of
Let's do 1 mile dissolve. Again, MCD
the other one. Maybe the uniform.
buffer 1 mile, and then we add this on it. Or dissolve, just to me. Name that. Yeah. And say all. And linear unit is 1 mile. And before I hit OK, because you're doing geoprocessing tools, before you click OK, you want to verify that everything in that tool is the same way, the way you want it. Because if you click now and there's something wrong, it can take a minute, it can take 5 hours. Yeah? And nothing worse than you sit there for half an hour
You get it wrong.
and you realize, we did it wrong. You gotta redo it because you had like 1 parameter wrong. Alright, let's read this again. I want to do buffers from the real MCD, save it in my MCD cheer database, call that real MCD 1 mile dissolve. You can call it Gustav if you want to, but that name is a little bit more appropriate. Then you have 1 mile as the distance. Yeah? And we dissolve. Dissolve all. So now you can see here, you create a network and like these bubbles. If you would do 2 miles, it will fill these gaps. Yeah? If you do 2 miles, or like the one we did 3 miles, we have the 3 miles.
What is the effect of the
If you look carefully at the 3 miles, this is the interpretation of your data. What does this mean if you do this?
If you're all 3 miles, then you should.
I wrote.
That pretty much in a whole area, you are always within 3 miles of a McDonald's.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, if you would do that from IKEA, it's different. Now you could do that for Subway, you could do that for Starbucks, you could do that for other retail outlets. And you could actually take a look at that. So if you read this the right way, that company has a pretty cool coverage on where are the locations and the customers. Now we could use now GIS and say, only for these, I want to know what's the income, educational level, demographics behind that. Yeah, because you now could drill down. Getting it.
Professor, what was the effect of the dissolve feature?
Well, what's the effect of the dissolve feature?
Between all and none.
Dissolve none, dissolve all. Huh? Again, tool help. I have single events here, single features, see that?
Okay, got it.
And this is one. So if you look at now, good question. look at your data tables. If I look at my data table for 1 mile and click open attribute table, I have 59 buffers. Yeah? Because I created 1 mile buffers around each company or location. Give me a moment. If I now take the look at the dissolve, it runs it as 1. In this case, because I didn't tell it to do any other separations. Yeah? Different process. What I could do now, in the 1 mile single buffer example here, these guys, yeah? I could go and take just this one, yeah? And select all the buildings underneath it, all the households, all the bus stops, all the water mains, whatever research question or ideas I have. Yeah? I could look at the transaction data for recent real estate sales, if I have access to that, and say, in that location within 1 mile, what happened in the last half year. And the reason why I have a buffer here is I can now just visually display that. Okay?
How did you only select one instead of not all of it? Like when you press that right there. Yeah.
Power of select tool by mouse click.
Okay.
Chapter 1. Yes, please.
How do you have access to that data that you just mentioned? You have to buy it?
We have it here.
Oh,
We get there.
And
We get there.
the
Wait.
question is, how to change the radius of a buffer that is already,
Can.
you can't?
It's creating.
Can't to do it again, right?
Yep.
I don't know.
All right. I'm gonna skip that. So, if I zoom out, let's save this guy. Save as. Buffers. Okay? So we got those McDonald's because we had an XY event. If I have a list of addresses, like I have this here in my geocode sample, like if you go over there, you have a real physical address, yeah? I will use then the system called geocoding. That is, take a list with addresses and match them into the real world through your engine, through your geocode engine. Yeah? So we're switching gear a little bit. We had a table with XY coordinates. Now we are having a table with addresses. And our system is helping us to translate that into points on the map, locations. Yeah? So our system is actually now looking up where in the real world is 100 Main Street. Oh, 100 Main Street has a specific coordinate. I will match that. And then your data table is matched to that location. Huh? Super complicated, super easy done. Huh? We are not going to get into hours and hours of debugging and error messages and all that. We're going to have a perfect geocoding example. 155 addresses on the map, yeah? To keep that really running. Everyone clear what we're going to do now?
Yes.
Geocoding. Yeah? In our catalog, I find my table called geocode example DBF. I right click on it, and it tells me here with that postbox sign, geocode addresses. I left click on it, and it will take a moment. It's going to start this whole engine. ideally, you should see, since you and I have the same installation, you should see two engines right now, also called address locators. World Geocode Service and the military grid reference. Yeah? We're going to use the World Geocode Service, ArcGIS Online. Okay? We click OK. Takes a moment.
Not military, right?
Not military. World. Alright, now it asks you to sign in. The most important part. Listen up, guys. Look at the screen. This is super important in terms of frustration and panic. Most important part. Do not click on sign me in automatically. Do not click on sign in automatically. This is like the remember my account. And it's frustrating. Rather, please type in multiple times your names here. So, what's your ArcGIS Online account? Well, that's your username underscore NSURED. Yeah?
Wait, username.
Remember that mine didn't work and you were gonna call?
I sent you a reset again.
User and
Underscore NSURED.
underscore NSURED.
No? What it does is it logs you in on the online-based cloud GIS, and will use your credit account to process that data now. So you gotta log in, and then click OK, or sign in.
I remember.
Password was assigned or reset last week.
Yeah.
And then I'm gonna get it.
Yeah? Monica, do you have that?
Yeah.
Yep.
No.
No. Let's do this again. Let's do it in this one. Alright, who needs password resets?
JM, my underscore, NSU,
RED.
red, that's okay.
Monica.
Where's the candy?
It's Monica.
That's what?
Reset password is on its way.
Got it.
Can you please?
Go to your desk.
I'm a competent
Check your
New
email.
Yorker on top.
Go to your desk.
Who else needs a password reset?
Thank you.
Jesus, do you need a password reset?
Yeah, I have it here, the passport where it says that your login session has been reset. So send it again, maybe?
Hey, no political statements in my class, please.
No, sorry, Professor.
Got it or not?
I'm fine. I just put a wrong number. I'm fine.
Alright,
I think.
just before I click reset. And then we have Danilo, Alright, then we'll try it again. And if not, we're going to set you up with a different account. Okay? Danilo, try it again.
I'm waiting for the email.
And if not, if it's not working, we're going to set you up with a different account in a short break, okay? Good. So on our screen, once you're successfully logged in, let's do this step and then we take a quick break before time is really running away. We have multiple fields. That's the complicated part. You need to know your table so you actually know which field you're going to match. So phi address 1 is our physical address. So we call it address or place is physical address number 1.
Physical
Address 2 is then physical address 2. We don't have address 3, we don't have neighborhood. We have city. So I can click here on city, physical city. I have sub-regions, regions, postal extensions, country, because I can use that pretty much worldwide. I have no problems to geocode addresses in Germany. Huh? So now I say postal is my zip code. Let's repeat this from the top. Address is physical address 1. Address 2 is physical address 2. City is physical city. Postal is physical zip code. These are the information I found in my table. Everyone got that?
Yeah.
Now, I want to find a location where I want to place that. And I just call it geocoding results right now. Just simply geocoding results. Don't confuse everything else. Yeah? No, we don't have the country information. You can't select, you need to match the fields. You can't select USA in this one. No. And I don't have a field that says USA. Okay. And then I would hit OK. Once this is done, you see the screen, it runs through 155, 100% matched. Let's keep it like that.
That's it?
Danilo, did it work for you?
Yeah, I'm now a little behind though. Okay, it's address or?
Did you get your password reset? No.
Like this part.
Address or place that?
No, you need that address 1. Address 1.
I never had so many bits and pieces of information in my head with location.
Address 1.
Address 1.
Address.
Sorry.
Okay, address 1.
2. And then scroll down.
Yeah, like I said,
You gotta scroll down. You don't have address 3.
Oh, okay, so none.
No neighborhood. You don't have neighborhood. You only have city and postal and zip code. So scroll down here to city. Match the city.
It's the same thing, so
So you've been to this road.
And hit OK.
Who was the teacher at that class?
You got family.
Give me a moment. I need to run this.
the information, then you get the information yourself. But it was like so much.
So you remember everything, right?
So in address or place is
Okay.
address 1.
So just for demo,
C.
don't do it. Just for demo, if I will click here rematch because I have unmatched or ties, takes a moment and it pops up a really weird window. Robert will remember that because he did some work for me. So what does this do is, it shows the address here in the top, and it shows what have been the candidates in the engine, in that geocoder, yeah, that could have made a fit. You could have also found this one here versus this one. You can see the nuances. This is without a street number. Yeah, there's no house number. Those are with house numbers. And the perfect match was, in this case, 100%. Or 100 scores. Yeah? So there are different ways to do this. You could now find that guy and say, search match, find it on the map, etc. We're not going to do that. Too rich in detail, too much confusion. I just thought you might want to see this. The book actually has a full chapter on geocoding.
What do we do when it says completed 100%, rematch or close?
Rematch.
Close.
Rematch, close.
We close.
Okay. I did. And how do I get the table that you got?
Oh, he just rematched it.
I just showed the rematch.
Oh,
You
okay.
don't wanna- No, I just want to show you. So now, if I go to my MCD in our catalog and go to geocoding result, I get these dots. Huh? because we successfully geocoded it. It looks like, okay, this is all the decimal degrees, and we drag and drop it on top of our map.
Thank you.
Yeah? And you can't see those guys, that's the reason why I make them shiny.
Drain it over here.
Yeah? So what are these?
Oh my God.
What I did is I needed addresses with real numbers. So what I basically did is I went to Broward County GIS webpage, downloaded all the parcels, boundaries, created midpoints for the polygon. Downloaded all the parcels, like this would be a street. Yeah, go to sec. I used a tool called Midpoint or Centroids, and each point here would be, let's say, 100 in Maine, 102 Maine, and I gave you guys this table. What you're looking at is random points. Remember we have this tool called random points? Random points selected on the address data. Huh? What does this also mean if I go get rid of my base map here for a moment? If I click identify, that point right now, or let's say this one down here, so everyone can click the same. If I click on this, it tells me geocoding results, and I now know exactly down there is my original table, what would be the land value for this location. Because I just gave you a file, could have been an Excel spreadsheet as well, to do that.
Explain that again, Professor.
That's real cost.
Oh, you put on the dot.
Now if you look at this,
The dot?
just that dot, and use the identifier tool here, and you scroll down to the bottom in that window, there's, let's say, one field is called LND val, for land value. That is the land value listed by Broward County GIS for that piece of property. Yeah? All right.
1972.
That's the font, okay. There you go.
If I want to show the different land values now, I could change the symbology. I can go and say double click here, go to symbology, and if I go through all these examples here again, remember, I can just say, I think it's the battery. Quantities. I could do graduated symbols. See that? Graduated symbols. I have one location at a point, but with increasing amount, it's changed its size. And I can go in here and say land value for value. And just hit OK. I don't care about the classification. I just want to show you the default setting. And do that. So now, without any tune-up, I can visualize which area has the higher land values mapped. All right? All right, it's 1037. At 1040, I start with the online stuff. We're doing prep, and then we go online. Now we do a quick break. Yes, please. Like literally, bathroom, stretch. Shake your head.
Yeah?
Environment.
Can you read them?
Uh,
I want
Kind of
to
like
Alright.
big paraphrase.
Oh, I had a lot of.
The table of content shows what?
Yeah, you can hit everything.
Yeah, you value.
I know you said to click back into.
All right. Where are your geocoding results?
Where are they? Right
Yeah.
here.
Hiding under.
Yeah, they don't have to be here.
Oh.
Ta-da!
But I think
Well, where are they on here? Do I have to go back here?
No,
No?
refresh. You're in Miami.
I am?
Mm-hmm.
Wait, let me go to my book part. Oh.
Wow.
Thank you.
I'm not even local when you do that.
Professor. Go back and review
That sounded like it.
Okay, so,
like previous experiences.
Right.
Yeah.
You get the geocode in our catalog. You got you have your geocode results. Watching, looking, so now we track and drop everything.
Oh, I got this one.
Geocode results. Your geocode results. Not all of them. Zoom in and zoom control. Geocode results.
Control B.
It happens.
Zoom in. Alright. And now you could change the symbology and say double click on it.
What's up, Grant?
And change the symbology. Symbology. See, this is exactly what you have in mind. That helps. Sometimes you don't remember this part, but you remember this is what you want to have. And then you choose value as the end value. And click OK. Oh, hey!
We need to give you less coffee, decaf from now on.
Why? So we are on top of page 2 of 3 pages of work. And we have 80 minutes left. So we're gonna do a few things. Okay, you know what's being fun stuff and we actually
There you go. And then, yeah, I took this class, I got to be sure we just made this start, so I'm sort of very specific. I had the software, I think it would mess with it. That's why I had it. You know, it gives you a lot of information, really, especially for development,
Right.
projects, stuff like that.
Let's save this. You can save this as buffers. It's fine. And close out.
Read, say, like on top of it? Like resave, like save this on top of that one?
Alright. So, what I want to go do is I want to log into ArcGIS.com, ArcGIS.com. With my student account. Submit. And say hello to your friendly student called Carl. Carl is actually not a student. Carl used to be a planner. All right, something like that. The system administrator is a slacker, so you can send your professor an email and say, hey, we need better maps on this one. So, that's the bare minimum to teach you guys. All right. For the next 5 minutes, I want to revisit ArcGIS Online. Play with it. Then we add complexity to the system. We're going to add actually data we created locally on our machine, and we upload that. Maybe we share. We don't know. Are you done breaking that printer?
Professor, while he's doing that, can you help? Just one second. You have to send this to me again. This is not going in. Please.
I like the way you see us.
Thank you.
All right, let's give you a password reset here too.
Sharp link, or are you going to email it to me?
That's going to be a shark link.
Yeah, my access is disabled.
Again? You just got in?
Where are you? Here. Why are you disabled?
Able to.
You should be fine, right? Where are you trying to log in? ArcGIS.com? Or SRE.com? That looks to me good. You don't have my SRE.com access. You don't have the my SRE access. Only admin users. You can take over if you want to. It'll save you a few hours a day.
Where did you send me the link for Junior?
Your student email, my NSU edu. All right, let's watch that. Good. So let's take a look at this. I have here a bunch of things, organization, so I can see other users if I want to. Yeah. Depending on your user level, you can do certain actions, view items, view groups, or profile. There are certain functions I cannot disable. Yeah. But that's okay. Then I can have home. The gallery we have seen before. This is where you find your base maps and you can browse for new fun stuff. Map and scene we're going to tackle soon. We kind of abandon the groups a little bit. That's confusing. It's like teamwork, sharing, etc. Yeah? Maybe we get to that next week. However, I want to take a look at content. Carl was pretty active last night. He played around with a few things. So what he did is actually put the MCD we played earlier, we put that up as a feature class. You also see here the feature of the file cheer database. So we have an MCD file cheer database on our machine. So one of the problems we have to solve is how to get it up into the cloud. Yeah? And this is the stuff we did last week. So if I would go map, it loads regular overview, and then we can basically say, okay, it's fine, let's zoom in with the mouse wheel and find our location. Now I can put this outside, play around with it. Super easy, yeah? I can change the base map. Say I want to change to imagery. Huh? Something we have seen before. Zoom in, zoom out. I also could do analysis. But wait a minute, I don't really have any data right now but my basement. So I need to find something for that. How would we do that? Well, let's go back to home. Content. On the content, I have a few buttons here, menus here. One says add item. And it says from my computer, from the web, or an application. Let's do from my computer. If I click my computer, pops up this very stylistic form. And I choose a file and can give it a title, give it a tag, and other functions. Yeah? Everyone sees that, everyone has that. In my content, I can add data from my computer, and I will see this. Yeah? If I click on choose file, it will ask me to add something. Now the complicated part is, it's not that easy. Yeah? Let's go and click cancel. Because if you want to load your own data up to ArcGIS Online, the system asks for packaging.
Oh, sick.
Zip. Well, this is going to be fun because let's see if you can zip the right data. All right. Remember when I told you guys, if you work with data and you look at data, only use your our catalog? Today, my dear friends, we're going to play open heart surgery again. I hit the Windows E key for Windows Explorer. Open heart surgery again. File Explorer. Windows File Explorer. We open that. We go to our location where we do all of our work. Yeah? Top level. Jump drive, folder name. See that? Jump drive, folder name. And you see there's a folder called msrd.gdb. You might see other folders, but right now, look at that folder, msrd.gdb.
Okay.
Alright? And the same way we do assignments, when we zip them, I right click, and right click on it, and I do send to compressed zip folder. Okay? Compressed zip folder.
It doesn't allow.
Again, I do this again. Highlight it, right click on it, send to compressed zip folder. Please, for assignment and other submissions, don't do REA, raw files and all that. It's a pain for me to unpack that. Yeah?
I did.
Thanks for pointing that out. I know.
File not found or no read permission.
Why don't I have read permissions right now?
It's open.
Well, I can.
You can't package up your pool if someone is still swimming in it. Yeah? So who's still swimming in it?
We are.
Arc catalog. So for that, we go to our catalog and kick that guy out.
There you go.
Wait a moment. Yeah, because the computer has to kick it out.
Yeah.
So right now, no one is swimming in your pool. Now we can cover it up. AKA, right click on it,
It still says it.
send to, fingers crossed, compressed zip file. Alright? Done, enter, perfect. So at the bottom of my window right now, I have a zip file called mcd.gdb.zip.
No. Mine still, it won't allow.
Alright.
I like that.
What's the weather map you look like?
Oh, now it just did it.
Really? Are you serious?
Okay. Now, we're going back to our web browser. Remember, everything right now that we're doing is web-based. You can do that from any location in the world. Internet access, web browser.
Mac.
Mac, yes. Not 100% sure if it's Safari. Firefox probably, or Chrome, I don't know if Chrome for Mac or something. You can do this ArcGIS online stuff from any web browser in the world. Restrictions, limitations might apply, yeah? But you don't have to sit in this computer lab to do work on ArcGIS online. Yeah? You can sit in Miami Beach at the beach with your laptop, get sunburned, and do GIS. Yeah? Coffee shop or at home on a couch. Or you do it here with Teams. Right, you got that? You got that zip file?
No.
I'm still with the.
And I shut down.
You gotta give it a second after you close it.
Gotta give it a moment, because remember how long it takes to load this whole thing?
Ship file, right?
Why do you open
I was thinking of that, yeah.
do that yet?
SAC chat.
Only is where's your, this is yours?
No.
That's not tea. Chai tea. Starbucks, chai latte. I don't. It's a new word they have put in the tea corporation.
Right, click here, send to
FCC, like, or
compressed zip. You have ArcMap open, don't you? Yeah, all of them. Give me a moment. No. Alright, you gotta close, give me a moment. This is the next step. You gotta close ArcMap, Arc Catalog. Everything that swims in that pool, you need to kick out before you actually can wrap it up. Okay? Good. Let's go back. Let's go back to this screen. Add an item from my computer. Choose the file. Go to the location where we're at. Yeah? Do not choose the file folder. Go and scroll down and find the MCD GDB zip archive or zip file. Yeah? Here on the computer lab, it has this funny looking item with a C on it. Yeah? And click open. Now we're going to tell it that we are dealing with a specific content, not a shapefile, but a file geodatabase. Yeah? I can do this for shapefiles step by step, or I can upload multiple feature classes in my CAN in the geodatabase. Then I change the title. It doesn't like those dots. So I call that MCD and my initials. Yeah? To make sure that no one in this class has the same name on it. And this guy is going to be Karagusev. No? Because double TWX is already. I also accept that whatever is in that geodatabase will be published as a hosted layer. So what does this mean? I can load actually files into the cloud and don't use them, just store them there to share. I could do my work, send it up and say, Angelo, here, pull it down as a download. Makes it easier because you can't send that whole thing via your student email address. Outlook here on campus tells zip files we don't like. So instead of Dropbox or something, I could use that setup. If it's a featured or hosted layer, I tell the system, hey, take a look inside that CAN and take out all the McDonald's guys and show them as a layer now, like we had it earlier on the map. So we can use it for display on the map and analytical purposes. Yeah?
No tags? Free
The annoying part is tags. Tags, not taxes, tags. Just call it test or whatever you want, or MCD. Since this is a test setup, and after this class, or some time after that, we're going to wipe everything. I'm not concerned about the specific tags and keywords. You could use McDonald's, Broward County, fast food as an example to find that. It's like hashtags. All right, test. And we say add item. Now this, this is the case that I need to change this because you already have it too? KG. Because you built it once for demo purposes. And then let's see. Add items from my computer, choose the file, find the place here, open. Tag is test.
No, you gotta change the title.
Fingers crossed. Alright, everyone got that? Everyone's in the working mode?
Yep.
So this takes a moment. There might be some error messages. Alright, and once it's done, it processes, and you just saw that, it changed here the amount of tabs. You know? It also gives me a preview on what's going on in the site of them. Huh? If you scroll down, you see everything we have done before listed here. Huh? So if I say, hey, real MCD, I like that, I can open them up now in the map viewer. It opens up my base map and puts my McDonald's locations on the map.
Can you repeat that again?
I heard it, oh shit, this is really happening.
No, we're just trying to figure out all the stuff that we can do with this.
I told you guys, you're going to curse me out for today. Alright. Alright, in my content, I repeat that. Now for those who want me to do repetition, I added data. I added an item that was a cheer database. Look, here is my cheer database. I also said I want to do the feature layers as hosted. So we created that hosting part for me. So if I click on this one, it pops up and shows me the details of what's inside there. All of it. Yeah? Gives me a preview here, gives me information about the data. If I want to look up certain tables, I see all the tables in here. Remember we have the right click, open attribute table, or preview in our catalog. This is similar. I can scroll down, I can sort if I need to. I have specific visualization purposes. So it actually shows me this a little bit more in detail without opening a map project. This is just a preview. Remember, this is in our catalog, your preview tab. I have technical terms, usage data, which gets a little bit complicated if you publish this to the world and someone starts using that service and it runs against your account. So behave. And then we have technical settings like, oh, you could actually prevent this item for accidental deletion, which is sometimes really helpful. Or enable editing and all the other things. Optimization, how fast it's drawing, but think about that. Pretty much every special function you activate now will run against your online credit card. Not much, but it adds up. At the end of this class, I probably have a few hundred credits per day just for storing all your data. So the process to create something cost me like 0.5 units, but keep everything in place for the next few weeks will cost me. So please, if you choose to do online work, if you think you need to upload on geocode 775,000 building permits, please let me know. That's why we have the roadmap. Try to get this quick roadmap discussion done too. Yeah, because it helps me to know, okay, you have a data intense project, and I can actually allocate credits for you. Will probably do. Might talk you out of it to keep it smaller. You do not need to do 500 million data points. You don't need to do that. Do it in a. We're not doing all Broward County data. We're doing just blips and blubs around it to show the impacts. All right. Speaking of showing, let's do the map. Let's do real MCD. Open in a map viewer. All right. Looks pretty cool. How would I change symbology here? So I could change symbology, and I click here on the little dots, and I get a bunch of icons as functions. Do I need to? Wait. Let's make this just a little bit bigger for you guys. So I have different functions here. I can show the legend.
Analysis.
Where's that?
Click analysis.
Click on it. Yeah. Just click on it and it pops up.
Oh, okay.
So I show the legend. Yeah. Single dots, single symbol. In ArcMap we call it single symbol. I could show the table, pops up. You have seen this before. Yeah? And the next one is change style. If I do that, oh Lord, all these functions are coming. You're one step ahead, but you're cool.
Mine doesn't do that.
Yeah, what you could do is you go back and here's the quick one.
Why is that one harder than that?
And maybe edit everything. So what you do is click on the
Are you lost again?
I just, whatever.
Did you put the base map?
I did, and then I went back to this one that he has.
How the heck do you do that?
What? Go ahead.
Where it says base map, and then you just press space.
No, don't press it. Just press the image.
No, but I went back to that one. So that's what
All right.
Oh, that's why you did.
I am looking at the. All right, wait, guys. I'm looking here at the McDonald's. Yeah. And I'm clicking in here. If you added all your data, you might see more than just one item here. Please uncheck like this to keep it easy on you. And I want you to click on change style. So this is your symbology tab. But it has a little bit more functions in it. Same functions are available in ArcMap. But here, they are more in your face. Like they're not sitting underneath the table, no, they're like smack in the face. It's big loud bang. Yeah? So, let's scroll down for this for a moment. I can select different styles here. It says show location only. I know for sure I have employment numbers in there, and I have sales value in there, or volume. So let's take a look at that. Oh look, my field names are in there too. Very cool. All right.
How'd you get change style?
I fell behind it again.
What?
Change style.
Again, how to get there? I go here and say change style. Yeah? So right now I'm like in the Properties tab on ArcMap, on the Symbology tab. Now I'll say, wait a minute, I would like to do the sales volume. Yeah? And now it automatically changed because of the type of the field. Type of the field, it changed now, and look, you have more options to that.
These two are hard.
So now it came up with these bubbles. Remember, first lecture, visualization, don't do a bar chart, bubbles are your friend. Welcome to bubbles. Yeah? Speaking of bubbles, what happened to bubbles? Did bubbles die? Michael Jackson bubbles?
Oh, I thought you were talking about.
Joke aside. Next step into the rabbit hole of Alice in Wonderland. Take options on the first one. So now, this is all your classifications and intervals and 10,000 steps from the assignment versus natural breaks. Remember? All this confusing stuff with classifications. This is now in one piece the visualization for that. I can choose classifications. Yeah? There are tons of functions down here. Or, just for the purpose of learning it today, I can also change the areas of interest. Yeah? I can make arrangements, and you can see here, this is your statistics. The light gray, those bars, that's your statistics. Where are the most numbers? So if I only want to have, let's say, everything that is a little bit more than 1 million, I can do that. It will adjust for that. Yeah? Or, since these brackets are a little bit weird, see that? 1.3, 2.2, 3 million. I could also say, classify the data, and also round the classes for millions. So now I have fairly okay steps. Yeah? I could even say multiple steps, like now I have 0 to 1 million, million to 2, 2, 3. That's something that I'm okay with. I click OK, maybe I change transparency a little bit. And hit OK.
Okay, wait.
What did you just classify?
Yeah?
Classify data.
Again, you can do from one single mouse click, have the system choose for you. You can go in depth and make these changes. I do this very quickly again. Options. And the very cool part is down there, if I scroll down, I can classify my data, and let's say I can even round my classes into million breaks, as an example here. Yeah? And I did adjust from 4 to 5 to make sure that I get the proper breaks, because then I know the big large bubble is 4 to 5 million. The smaller ones, in this case, is 1 million to 2 million. Yeah? And hit OK.
Okay.
And it's done. Yeah? So this is bubbles. There are more things.
Yay.
And this is why you probably like this more than actually the ArcMap for desktop. Because ArcMap for desktop is not as intuitive, it's not as colorful. Yeah? Remember, you have this little tiny pictogram on the bottom left in your symbols. When you choose your symbology. Here it's big on the screen for you. So what else do I have if I want to map out sales volume? I have counts. Interesting, but not really. Yeah. I have location heat map. We know that from weather data. Yeah. So if we use that tool in ArcMap on desktop, it's complicated because I actually have to talk for 2 minutes about statistics. how we smooth out distributions and all that. And we create a tool, or using a cool tool that is called kernel density to make this the right way. Yeah? Or we just click a button in the online world. However, in my tool locally, I can define how many neighbors and how far I need to look around to make my dark red versus light blue algorithm. I can define how I will have to process that. Here right now, one mouse click, systems predefined setup. Not as much control. For visualization, great. For a scientific, academic approach and say, hey, I want to look like, let's say, sea level rise and all that, not good enough. Give me more. I can go to options. I could change the symbology here as an example, find different colors. Yeah, we've seen this. Yeah, depending on my message, what I want to send. Super simple. Here, change symbols. Click, pops open the menu. Here is the area of influence. If I use the ArcMap tool, I can define 1,000 foot, 1 mile, 5 miles. Yeah? Here, I'm doing area of influence. Smaller. Yeah? Like literally like just 100 feet down the road. Or larger. This looks like right now like a thunderstorm, huh? So again, if I know where are my big sales? Big sales are here, big sales are here. If I have a large influence like this, it aggregates data. Sawgrass Mill is not large anymore because it actually gets diluted over all this displayed area. Yeah? So, depending on what I want to display as part of my story, I might want to be true or truthful to what's really going on. Yeah? So I could do that and say, okay, fine, but just keep it like this, hit OK, and hit done. I can actually say, okay, fine, I have certain areas here where I have somewhat, not significant, somewhat higher sales value, and I can display that. I also can go in, because it would be nice now to see the locations. I can gently click here on more options.
Wait.
All these dots are options. Yeah? And I could do copy. Yeah? Click on this, it copied the file, and I change this to single locations.
Which one are you copying?
I repeat that again.
Yes.
And hit OK.
Oh, okay.
So now I have 2 layers. Both are coming from my McDonald's locations. The one on the bottom is my heat map, showing the visualization of sales volume. And the on top is just the single locations, the dots. So with that, I actually show that here, that center is actually between the 3 locations rather than a single location. Yeah? So you add information to that. In ArcMap, that would have been a little bit longer because the processing of that heat map is different. Yeah? Any questions? What?
Can you do the copy again?
Right click on it.
Wrong mouse. Alright, so these 3 buttons here, dots, is more options. I click on this, and I get a bunch of menus. This is the 3 buttons here is our right click in ArcMap. Yeah? I do copy, and it automatically pastes it in with renaming it, and it calls it copy. Yeah? And then I click on this gently again. This is my activated layer. Now I'm looking at a heat map. Yeah? Both are heat maps. See that? And I change my style back to show location only. Takes a moment, and hit done. And activate the heat map again. And I can rename those guys. Rename. And could call that MCD location. Yeah?
So you go to more options and then rename,
Yep.
MCD.
Options, rename. Alright?
And rename it to,
Yes.
Is there any option for sound?
what do you rename it?
So,
Sound, like how loud, like the website?
SoundCloud.com.
Huh?
No, it's different sound.
Like noise?
Yeah,
No, no, no.
he wants to know where it's highly, like, noise polluted.
Yeah, I know, like.
Alright, you might want to find that. You could actually now here look at add, search for layers or browse living atlas. Could be on living atlas. Just look for noise.
Rename it to real MCD? Yeah.
Ah,
Oh,
Add,
because,
browse,
Oh,
add to map.